and let's talk about Waymo. Hey, guess what, Lyft? Waymo's coming up, and it's actually taking a big chunk out of your business because you're teetering on 3 right now. You used to be number 2, but Uber is the big gainer. But what is going on with Waymo? And yes, Waymo actually costs more than Uber and Lyft, even when there's no driver. So you don't have to pay for that person.
It does.
It costs
in LA. Well, that day when you were with me, when you came for Curbivore, you remember how cheap it was from Santa Monica to downtown? It was like 30% cheaper than Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, but that's because Uber and Lyft were trying to pump up their prices for a little bit. So they're like, oh yeah, we could try to get a little profit.
Well, they are expensive. I mean, I've taken 6 or 7 of them. Every time I took it, it was more expensive than Uber and Lyft. And Waymo rides cost more than Lyft, but people are paying anyway. Okay. The report shared exclusively with TechCrunch is based on a month's worth of data collection. Big deal. Between March 25, April 25, San Francisco, California, OB pulled nearly 90,000 offer records from Waymo, Lyft's standard offerings, UberX, in order to compare price and ETA. It then compared the ride requests from the same times and routes. OB found Lyft offered the lowest average price at $14.44. Uber was $15.58. Waymo's average price was $20.43. So it seems like they're 25% more expensive, but people are still using it. Why is that, do you think, Chris? Because they don't like the way the driver smells. They don't like the way the driver speaks, if he speaks at all. They don't like the car. Or is it because, like we said last week, 75% of Uber drivers quit in less than 11 months, scratching the bottom of the barrel. Service quality has gone down. Car quality has gone down. Driver quality has gone down. And the fares have gone up 50%. And riders go, well, screw it. I might as well pay $5 extra in this nice smelling electric Jaguar, and I don't have to deal with this shit.
Until it pulls up. Until it pulls up and there's no driver and there's puke all over the seat.
No shit.
Or somebody peed in it.
No shit. And so that's what's happening, folks.
Or they took you downtown LA and they start on fire. So
that's what that's what my tweet is about. Waymo moved the cars out of LA, and then now they're coming back though. Expect temporary service adjustments. That would never happen with a human driver, right? We drive, man. And I tweeted it out while millions of Uber and Lyft drivers are at work, taking the risk for subpar pay since TNCs manipulate the dynamic pricing in all these riots and all this shit going on in LA. Not $1 worth of surge, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, be safe out there, drivers. Your life is worth a lot more than $5. And Jeremy said Waymo was completely inoperable this week, and barely anyone's talking about it. The fragility of self-driving taxis as a transport system is way more serious than we're acknowledging. I agree with you, Jeremy Stoppelman. Drivers are always going to be necessary. They can suck it. But they're back though. They're back.
Yeah, I mean, that shows a point of some of the issues, but the problem is it's the same thing of what we talked about last week when Gridwise had put out that data of not just about pinching pennies when it comes to drivers, but raising prices, and how passengers will say we're not going to pay for that. So they're going to adjust their driving habits. So at scale, you're probably not going to be able to get at that. And you're not going to be able to take on car ownership, as I had mentioned, because to go literally 4.5 miles from my house to a grocery store is not going to cost me $17 to $22 from Uber. And I saw as high as $66 on Lyft.
Oh my God.
Like, you're kidding me, right? So yeah, when it comes down to these things, it's like, it's becoming a luxury service for a subpar car. And like, you might have a Jaguar. Oh yeah, wow, it's a really nice car. But the same thing. Like if something happens within the car and it just pulls up and it doesn't realize that there was something, now you're going to be pissed off. But when it comes to these things where it's like, oh, there's X amount of rides happening on here. Well, look at how look what is happening. You go on Uber's app and hey, guess what? We're going to give you a self-driving car instead of a driver car because, well, you feel like it. So some of these numbers could actually be inflated when it comes to that, but
Well,
they also probably have a thing within their contract that says we have to perform X amount of rides in order for the contract to remain, unless there's going to be some negotiation factor. Because how is Waymo going to make the money to get the sensors and the car and everything paid back? So
with these
there's
cars,
a lot of unfortunate
yeah.
things when it comes down to it.
One thing I always say is work smarter, not harder. If you aren't using the Solo app, then you may be working harder. So let's change that. Download the app, link your accounts where you can manage your income, track your expenses, and project your taxes. Not only that, but you can plan by optimizing your time, make more, and even guarantee your daily pay with guaranteed earnings. Download Solo and begin to work smarter, not harder today. Link is in the description. All right, let's get back to it.
No, I mean, look, with these cars at 150,000 a pop, unit economics are completely upside down. Even if you charge 20% more than Uber and Lyft with a driver, you're not going to make any money on these trips. However, we'll see. We'll see how this game is going to play itself out. I'm not concerned for at least 5 to 8 years minimum. And, maybe a decade. These things are difficult, man. Humans do a lot of things a lot better than these things. In fact, there was... they're still having problems with hearing the fire engines and cops. They're all blocking them and shit. Look, these things are coming. You can't avoid it. But I don't think it's going to be this. Everybody loses their job at Uber and Lyft, and drivers are going to be unnecessary. No, I think drivers are always going to be necessary. However, if you guys do get a chance, get in one. I couldn't put Chris one in LA because he resisted the Waymos.
I resisted the robot.
Allergic to Waymos.
The only robot I will get is the Tesla robot, where it can do shit for me because I can send it to the store, I can send it to clean my house or whatever it might be, and I'll call it Rosie.
Optimus robot for you, sir. Okay.
Yeah, I'll call it Rosie though.
But look, if you're a driver, if it's in your city, just go take a Waymo, take a short trip. Let's see, just judge it for yourself. They drive pretty good. I gotta admit,
it might drive pretty good, but the reality is, it's when you put it to scale, it still doesn't make sense. So, and I think that's one of the big things. They're racing towards this goal, and they're tripping over all these rocks and branches and potholes and everything along the way, and they're still trying to get it, even though they're like halfway stepping at this point. And if they don't watch it, they're going to fall flat on their face and cut their skin completely. So, that's where I feel that they're at. Same thing with AI. It's the same thing. Like, we're trying to achieve all this stuff, and they put so much into this, but the reality is, it's just literally a large language model. You can train it to do certain things, but at the end of the day, it's just pulling percentages from statistics. So, is it really going to be a big problem? Certain things, absolutely. But other things, not necessarily. But I think there still comes a dire warning that you have to, make sure that you're going along the route and filling in all the gaps as well too. You can't just run all the way to the end and then say, "Oh, I got here," and look at what's going on behind you.
Yeah, for sure. I think everything in due time. Just because
they won't be able to drive in Buffalo.
Yeah, just because they can build it doesn't mean we need it. But we'll see. We'll see where this adventure is going to go. So you guys are still needed. Don't worry.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.